Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Marianne Petrie. You can find me, my books, and blogs on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com and on Amazon. I have another announcement. Please notify your Attorney General in your state regarding solar panels made by Sonova or Generac Systems. If you're having any difficulty with this company, fill out the complaint form on the website of the Attorney General in your state. I have a brand new guest on. I have a guest from California. Her name is Wren Byrd, and she's been my friend for quite a while. And we're going to talk about why poor people can't get any justice. How are you, Wren?
I'm good. I'm doing okay. I've been better, but I'm surviving.
Hmm.
I have not seen my son in over 6 months, and it's been grueling. Because, well, I kind of wanted to tell my story,
Hmm. Go ahead.
but
You're allowed.
okay. Okay. So I'm just going to give you a brief history and a brief background, and
Mhm.
then I'll go into the court stuff.
Okay.
So I met the man I married in 2005 in Baghdad, and I married him in 2006. He changed right after I married him. I became his property, and I believe that I ended up suffering, I think, from Stockholm syndrome or something like that. Definitely
Hmm.
battered woman syndrome because the fear that I experienced from his abuse just kept me in check and I lost my entire soul, basically. Um, I was squashed from having feelings, from having desires, from having wishes, dreams, money, everything. He took everything from me. And um, it was it was so bad it caused me to be hospitalized 6 times with hemorrhaging internally due to ulcers.
Ooh.
And I was near death every time I was in the ICU. Um,
Now, this is with
I didn't
stomach
know.
ulcers?
Yes, I didn't know
Mm.
at the time that it was related to the stress that
Hmm.
he was putting me under. Um, I originally lived with him in Missouri and I fled Missouri to Texas in 2006, which is the same year I married him.
Hmm.
And he followed me there. He showed up there. Then eventually I left Texas and came to California. He followed me here, got me pregnant. We had a child, but we weren't together.
Hmm.
Um, and that child is now 14 years old.
Mm.
This is my son, and who I love deeply. Obviously, I'm a mother, so I love my
Hmm.
son.
Hmm.
But the um, the abuse is so severe that I dropped my last DVRO because I was afraid I wouldn't survive it. Um, I told the judge I had to drop the DVRO in Shasta County because I didn't think that I could survive another court battle.
Mm.
And it's really unfortunate that people who are severely abused fall through the cracks like this. Uh, I've been slandered, I've been defamed, I've been everything that a person could do to you has happened to me.
Mm.
And I'm just surviving right now.
Hmm. Yeah, and when did you realize these were stomach ulcers? How long did it take them to figure that out?
I started being hospitalized for
Right.
these in 2014. That was the first time I got hospitalized.
Okay.
By the 2018 came, my last hospitalization was at the end of 2018, and that's around the time that I got diagnosed with lupus.
Mm.
Hmm.
See, because what people have to
So,
understand with all this domestic violence and this very sickening nature of these abusers is they do cause illnesses.
yeah, they do. 100%.
Mm.
And I believe that my lupus is directly related to the ongoing abuse, and not just his abuse, but the abuse of the system. Once you're in court, you're either winning or you're losing. There really is no in between.
Hmm.
At least in my case, I've discovered I've had multiple attorneys and I've had to go pro se due to financial restrictions. And
Hmm.
um, the judge in my case should have recused himself. However, he did not. And he saw nude photos, all kinds of nude photos of me that my ex filed. And it was humiliating for me to have to go before this judge after that happened. He didn't punish my ex. He didn't do anything to him, although that is a crime. It's revenge porn. And there was no accountability. There were no repercussions. Right now, I mean, since 2017, I have been just devastated by the legal system.
Hmm.
It's destroyed me just in every way.
Now, did you think it re-victimized the victim?
Yes, it
Hmm.
does. It does. If you're with a normal person going through court, it might be one thing, but if you're with someone who is on the dark triad,
Hmm.
it's a whole different story. It's war, it's defamation, it's everything. I I spent time in court where his attorney was literally yelling that I'm defrauding like all these different organizations that I've never had any contact with.
Hmm.
So, like, one example was he kept saying, well, she's defrauding HUD. She's defrauding HUD. And I've never had HUD in my life. So, yeah. So, things like that were said in a full courtroom,
Hmm.
like, it's total defamation of character. I don't know how he got away with it. I filed a report against him to the bar and it was denied. So all my reports that I've filed to complain to the Department of Justice, to the bar, everything's just been flat out boilerplate denial letter.
Hmm.
So I'm not really sure how I'm going to get justice, if I'm going to get justice, or when that might happen. My son is almost 15 now,
Hmm.
and um, I don't think I should have to wait for 3 years, you know.
Exactly.
So, but also, I'm very concerned about my child's mental health. I know what living with his father did to me, and I can't imagine what it's done to my son, being that you know, his mind is still developing and I don't think he has a voice in that
Mm-mm.
household.
No, I don't think so either. Now, how did they get your son away from you?
In 2019, my ex took my child for a visit and enrolled him at a different school that was 3 counties away from me. The school allowed it, and then my son called me up and said, Mom, I want to go to this school. and I got coerced into allowing that to happen. Um, I wasn't happy about it at all. I didn't, and I didn't force the issue at the time because I was in, it was in a precarious situation. My son was being manipulated and he
Mhm.
was wanted to go to this school. I wanted to support him. He's 9 years, almost 10 years old.
At that, yeah.
So, um, I thought, okay, so maybe this opportunity will build his relationship with his father. He'll go to a better school. Everything will be good. That's not what happened. He began alienating my son immediately. He had my son calling this woman he lives with mom
Oh,
immediately.
they all do that.
And I was not even allowed to know. He kept his address from me. He wouldn't let me meet the woman. He didn't put me down as his mother in the school or anything. I had to go
Yeah.
and get those things done myself.
Yeah.
I became the class parent. I used to volunteer
Hmm.
until he started slandering me to the school, and then they kind of it's not like they say, "Hey, we know what you are because your ex-husband told us, so you can't, they just basically kind of said, "You're not the class parent anymore." And, it was devastating.
So they
Hmm.
didn't let you in when there was, basketball games or class goings on?
I was told that I may not be able to attend my son's graduation
Mhm.
from eighth grade. I did not attend my son's graduation for eighth grade. I was denied that
Did
by
that did that come from the principal?
it
Or-
came from the principal was colluding basically. You know, I don't know how that school got away with what they did because it was really illegal to allow someone who didn't have any custody to enroll a child in their school. And
A lot of them do that and they don't care.
they don't. That's wrong. I don't know how
Oh,
that
you know what?
happened.
As soon as the personality disorder walks in there, and this is what I encountered, and the personality disorder I was dealing with walked in there, and there was a meeting that I didn't know about, and he commanded a meeting of 9 teachers. Can you imagine pulling 9 teachers out in the morning for attention? And I get a call as I'm driving down the road because I was going grocery shopping from the principal saying, "Well, how come you weren't at the meeting?" I said, "What meeting?" He said, "Well, we had a meeting here at 10 o'clock. Didn't your ex tell you?" I said, "Why would he tell me?" Huh? So I said, "I want to know what's going on in this meeting." So he set up a meeting for me at 1 p.m. So it was just me and him, the principal. So I went in there with a note from a psychologist on what I was dealing with. So he told me that, yes, we had 9 teachers here and dad was concerned, but didn't tell me what. And dad got a little emotional. I'm going, "Oh, really?" Because this is what I'm dealing with. And I handed him the letter that described behaviors. So he read the letter and his face went to stone. He handed me the letter back. He says, "I can't get involved in this." And I said, "You already are. But thanks for talking." And I got up and left. This is what the schools are doing.
I can tell you that the school took it upon themselves to um, basically tell me that I could not attend events unless it was my custodial time. So if my son had an event that was not on my weekend, I couldn't go.
Wow. Gee, I'm glad that didn't happen to me.
Hmm. And He's now in high school, and just yesterday I got an invitation from someone at the school to join the class cohort. So I also found out that he did not put my name on my son's enrollment information or
Mhm.
anything like that. And until I pushed the school, I wouldn't have been able to be involved. So I it's so hard,
It- mhm.
because when you have someone engaging in a smear campaign, you can't, there's no way to fight that.
Mm-mm.
There really is no way to fight the smear campaign other than just to disengage. So I basically have kind of disengaged because I know he's saying things that about me. I know that because he's written letters to the city, he's written letters to my boss, he's written letters to my landlord to destroy my life.
Mhm.
And so the only way that you can counteract a narcissist or someone, a psychopath or a sociopath on the dark triad, you just have to disengage. You have to take care of your own mental health. And unfortunately, I feel like he hasn't got me unalived yet, okay?
Mhm.
That's his ultimate goal, probably. He
Mhm.
hasn't accomplished that. So I feel like I'm winning, but at the same time, I feel like my son is losing. My son is the loser in this situation. He doesn't have his mother. He's got his
Mhm.
tyrannical father and a fill-in stepmother who probably is nice. I don't know. I don't know her.
Well, technically, she's not a stepmother. This
Oh
is what,
yeah, she's
yeah,
right.
I told you. I don't know if I told you or not, but another mother told me that no, because I referred to whatever. And she said, unless the actual parent is deceased, then that parent steps in to that role, and now they're the step mother or father. It's like, I didn't know that.
I
So
didn't know
actually,
that either.
so what my counselor, I just love my counselor. She said, no, she said, these people are just tag-alongs. I said, okay, I like that better. But still, these tag-alongs go along with the personality disorder and even tell the kids to call them mom or dad.
Oh yeah, she introduces herself as my son's mother.
Well, she's disgusting.
I mean,
Oh,
really,
yes.
like it's very upsetting. And in the grand scheme of things, you have to let a lot of your feelings just, you have to suppress your feelings about these things because there's nothing you can do. Um, once, so in 2020, when COVID happened, the school shut down, and my son was with me at the time, and I said, he's not coming back,
Hmm.
because I was upset that he had enrolled him in the school to begin with. I was upset. He basically kidnapped my son and then made me go along with it. That's what it was. It's concealing a child, custodial interference. I had sole physical custody. And so basically in 2020, when COVID happened, I told him, my son, he's not coming back. His doctor said, keep him here.
Hmm.
So he filed contempt charges against me. And in our negotiation over that, I didn't have an attorney. I
Oh,
agreed to give him joint custody. I waived all of his back child support in exchange for no future support owed. And his attorney is a little snake. He wrote up the order multiple times. What ended up getting submitted gave me no holidays.
oh, just like me. Perfect. Yeah, great.
No holidays. Like I would agree to that. Are you kidding me? I
Hmm.
would never agree to that. So I had to fight just to get my holidays. And then he had all the back child support waived. He wasn't supposed to touch my Social Security, but he did anyways. So because it was like an agreement, I'm going to waive all your back child support and I'm not going to pay you any future support because I've been supporting our child. And I'm not going to have to pay you child support, but you're not going to take my Social Security that I get for my son because
Mm-hmm.
we need that for survival. And he took it. We lost our house. He thought that would do me in. It almost did me in, seriously,
Oh.
because at the same time, that's when I lost my eyesight in my right eye.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just it seemed like I was living in hell, really, for a while there.
Well, if you think about it, Ren, that any parent that does that to the mother or father of their children, they're, like you said, a dark triad. Who would do that to someone? It's all vengeance, especially to take
Yeah.
disability.
Mhm.
That's really bad. That shows a real tightwad and someone with a lot of insecurity problems that they would steal. Actually, that's stealing someone's disability because that's also what happened to me too.
Yeah, that's it's not right. So I at the time, it was a very, very traumatic period for me. Um, I had to move. I had nowhere to go. I found a live-in position, which wasn't a live-in, but I did find a place to go. So I wasn't homeless. My
Hmm.
son lost his bedroom and everything that he had put in it for the past 13 years. Um, then I moved. I was able to move, obtain another home, and then my ex wrote my new landlord, my new boss letters defaming me, and that created a very hostile environment for me. It caused me a lot of problems. So I had to find another place to go and another job, which I did. So I'm doing okay, but one thing I really want to talk about is mediation. In
Hmm.
California, you have to have mediation. You have to have 3 tiers. In fact, I think they may have even added a fourth tier to it. I'm not positive. But in the county that I was in, we had 3 tiers of mediation. And originally, because we started going to court in 2010, which was when my son was born.
Mm.
So we're talking about a lot of time, a lot of mediations, a lot of bullshit.
Hmm.
Excuse my French.
Okay.
So when um when we went to mediation in 2022, my ex figured out a strategy to use mediation to defame me. So, because I'm the abuse victim, I
Hmm.
can elect to have my mediation separately, which I normally would do, but until he developed this strategy, which is to have mediation separately so he can use mediation to defame the fuck out of me. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what he did. He
Hmm.
told the mediator I had Munchausen by proxy. The mediator took his word for it, put it in her report, and destroyed me. I've been destroyed since then,
Ah.
completely. That destroyed me. It reduced my parenting time. It forced me to do all the driving, which was a 6-hour drive one way for my visitation. Even though I'm disabled, they denied my disability, they denied my visual disability, didn't even phase this judge. They
Well.
just said she's lying. She's lying. I provided all kinds of stuff. I was denied the opportunity to have an evidentiary hearing, flat out denied. Straight up. I have a lot of evidence, but I was
Hmm.
denied a hearing by Judge James Bertoli in Sonoma County, and he's also the judge who I feel was very biased against me because he saw naked photos of me. He
Hmm.
ruled against me after that. He didn't punish my ex. He didn't even slap him on the wrist. All he did was seal that motion. And that's so disturbing to me. Beyond that, he has a band called Courtn Disaster with his
Oh,
fellow court employees, which I feel is also another bias,
oh,
period. He's biased toward everyone. Like him having this band shows the appearance of bias towards anyone that's in his courtroom, in my opinion, because he
ah,
was a superior court judge who was the over, he was presiding over the domestic violence calendar. How can you have a band called Courtn Disaster and not be biased?
it's called Courtn, like Courtn Disaster.
Court, court, and then an N, and then disaster.
Interesting.
So he has this band and they've been more active since he just got off the bench. He got off the bench on Halloween. So he's no longer on the bench. He's able to pursue his honky tonk dreams with his band, with his employees that work at the courthouse, court clerks, other attorneys. And the most disturbing part of this, well, not the most, there's so many disturbing
Yes.
parts. Another disturbing part is he made a ruling that caused my son to get expelled from school. And he made a ruling that took away my medical rights from my son. He made a ruling that took away my educational rights regarding my son. All because of this allegation that was made in mediation
Oh.
by my very vindictive ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And the mediator, Veronica Pineda, DeGalley is her name. She is a licensed clinical social worker. Uh, she has made a lot of very
Poor decisions.
egregious
Yeah.
legal errors. Yes. Like one example is you can't bring up anything in mediation that has not been properly filed and served on the other party. There was nothing filed about me having this crazy illness, which is like the worst form of child abuse a person could ever have.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing filed because it's not true. There's nothing to file.
Mm.
This the rulings that were made were based on her recommendations, which included me having Munchausen by proxy.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Um,
Oh, man.
yeah, like really, like I took my kid to the doctor once a year for his annual checkup. Whenever he got sick, I took him to the doctor because once kids start school, they get colds, they get flu, they get this and
Earaches.
that.
Yeah.
And you know, all I did was that. He was never hospitalized, or there was never any suspicion, any type
Mm-mm.
of weirdness going on. And if there was, a doctor or a hospital would have reported that, not my ex-husband in a mediation. I'm
Why didn't
just,
this
dis
person say, okay, I need proof of this Munchausen by proxy? Do you have paperwork on it? Where's the hospital paperwork? So this Veronica DeGalli, right? That's her name?
Her name's Veronica Pineda. She goes by Veronica Pineda. The Digali is the other last name of her husband, I think. It's her legal name,
Uh,
but she goes by Veronica Pineda. But her
well,
legal name, I think, is Veronica Pineda di Galli.
she wants to
But
sound Italian,
I don't
like
know.
she owns a
I think
vineyard.
she's, I don't think she, I don't think she's Italian. I think she's Hispanic. I'm not sure.
Well, hey, it's Latin all the same, right? But the thing is,
Yeah.
she did not do her job. I think,
No, she did not.
I'd sue her.
I think I would like to,
I mean,
if
okay,
that's an
bear in
option.
mind, I can't give any legal advice because there's no such thing as good legal advice, but that's what I would do. And I would report
Yeah.
her to the APA. I think you can do that with
What's
these.
the
American
What's the AP?
Psychiatric Association, or find, oh, well, maybe not
Oh,
that, but where you report clinical licensed social worker, whatever they're called. Whatever that is, I would report it.
I'll have to look into that. And I don't know if there's a statute of limitations or
No,
not.
just no, you just found out because I just told you. You could tell them I just learned this on this podcast. Oh yeah, I am telling you, I made complaints on two psychologists, and that's the way it goes. If they're not doing their job, they need to be reported.
I think I think it's an important element to share with people is that if you make a report, your report may not go anywhere depending on who gets that report. So have you should file it more than once. Like
Hmm.
because people today are a lot of people just don't do their jobs. They're
No.
just not committed to their jobs. They just brush things aside and put papers under a pile of papers. They don't do what they're supposed to be doing
Hmm.
with this information. And so it's kind of like, when you go to a doctor, your diagnosis is only going to be as good as your doctor if he doesn't know about it, he's not going to do anything. So when you make a report to the bar, it's like who is actually getting that report? Are they doing their job or are they just responding with the boilerplate denial? And
Well,
I'm same with the Judicial Ethics Committee.
this is what,
I
okay, I'll tell you this. I had to report an attorney because he was alluding to collusion. So, during a federal lawsuit. So I wrote up what he said and I sent it to the Supreme Court Disciplinary Board. It wasn't the bar, okay? Uh, Maybe in California there's something similar to that and not the bar, I hope. But I
Hmm.
got the namby-pamby letter back saying it wasn't unethical enough. So, I sat on that for a week and it's like, something's wrong. I can't let this go. So I called him up. I talked to an attorney there and he was super nice. And he said, Hey, give us more information. Is there more you can give us? So, yes, there was more. And I gave it to them and he got in trouble, that attorney.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
So you have to keep at it. You have to be persistent and give them copies, not like a whole bunch of copies, but let them know there's more if they should want to request them.
I'll have to look into that and see if there's other channels that I haven't
Hmm.
explored.
Yeah, because a lot of people think, oh, I've got to complain to the bar, and they all back their own. Well, there could be another place to report them, like we have in Pennsylvania.
Hmm. Maybe I'll look into that. I do know that I'm going to be filing another complaint with the Judicial Ethics Committee, but I'm not, I need to get some more information. I don't know what the process is or if I don't think there's a statute of limitations on judge misconduct. And so I'm hoping to take action against this judge,
Hmm.
and this mediator.
I agree. Uh, how horrible. There was misconduct there. The bias. Do you know any other
Oh,
parents that were tr
he laughed at me. He laughed at me when I told him that my ex committed domestic violence against me at the police station.
Oh, he thought that was funny. Uh,
Uh-huh. He's like, "You mean to tell me?" He's chuckling, laughing that this happened and they did nothing. And I'm like, "Yeah, they did nothing. And it happened and I made the report." Um, but another thing he did was when I was requesting my evidentiary hearing, his attorney was his attorney is really good at diminishing like my plight, like at basically denying the existence of anything that's truly happened. So he was objecting to my evidentiary hearing request. He's like laughing and saying, "Oh, what was that? Like 10 years ago?" Ha ha ha. And
Oh,
the judge joined in that chuckle and
oh
they
yeah.
denied my.
I'm so sorry. They all do that. That's very similar. It's called Darvo. Do you know what that is?
No,
Oh, okay, so it's DARVO. It's an acronym for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. So they flip it back on you when all this horrible stuff happened to you. Somehow that's your fault because these people are sociopaths. Your opposing attorney and this judge are sociopaths.
yeah,
This is what
I
we're doing.
think
I mean,
so.
this is what I dealt with. Same thing, the same mocking. Oh, you should
Yes,
also report the
mocking.
opposing attorney.
I
Report him.
did.
What did they do? Anything?
No,
Well, then you've got to report them again.
again. Yeah,
Give
maybe,
them,
maybe.
yeah, give them more information. Maybe take
Okay.
a transcript, make a copy of the corruption, and
But the
send.
problem is there are no transcripts.
Okay. Then describe as be okay, do this. Take a piece of paper, describe as best what happened, get it notarized, stamped, time stamped. You know what I mean? You keep the
Hmm.
original, you send them the copy. Maybe that will have an effect. I can't guarantee that, but I'm all for notarizing things.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That's that's another.
Right, because these attorneys antagonize the victim, the target parent. It could be a mother, it could be a father, but if they know they can antagonize and the judge is colluding with that attorney, gee, did that attorney play in the band too? Maybe the
No, this one
banjo?
didn't.
No, maybe he sang backup.
No, he was not in his band, but I call him Little Snake. Little Snake. He's like a little man. He has a little man syndrome.
Oh, is he's short?
Yes.
Oh,
So he's venomous. He's venomous.
well,
The
God.
fact he has no conscience
Well,
and he
can you
will say
imagine being
anything.
married to that?
No. Mm-mm.
Mm,
No. Can I say his name?
sure.
His name is Robert Montgomery. So anyone watching this who wants a snake for an attorney, go hire. I mean, I don't want to give him like a plug, but the guy is off his rocker. He should not be practicing law. He's
Oh, yeah.
defamed me with
Well, have you ever looked up his Google reviews?
probably I've kind of gotten away from even taking action, at this point. I'm just trying to, I'm living incognito. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to take care of myself, to improve my health
Mhm.
and start a something. I'm trying to start something, get something going. I have a forum. I have Injustice We Appeal. Um, involved in multiple legal abuse syndrome support groups.
Hmm.
So the taking care of myself has become my priority,
Hmm.
not taking down the system.
Hmm.
I have to take care of myself first, and
Hmm.
um, any extra energy that I have, is diverted to all these other initiatives. One of them is getting justice, of course. Another one is surviving, paying my
Mhm.
bill, and, you know, trying to heal emotionally from all of this.
Mhm. Oh, it's difficult because it's just so traumatic. People don't understand. As soon as you walk into a courtroom, you're already getting traumatized. It's like a torture chamber in there, especially with
Yeah.
family court. I don't know if
Hmm.
toxic is the right word. Treacherous.
Yeah. Treacherous is probably better. It's treacherous. Um, you know, you're re-traumatized by the whole entire thing if you don't have counsel. And even when you do have counsel,
Hmm.
like one of my attorneys was just flabbergasted when the judge ruled against me. And he had to drop off my case because he has to face this judge on a daily.
Hmm.
And the judge is so biased against me. It was very clearly evident to this attorney, and he would not work on my case anymore because he couldn't get justice.
Hmm.
The judge was ruling against me no matter what he did, and that's really the bias right there. It's the fact that he was straight up not
Well,
reading my motives.
the case was fixed. Someone was getting bought off,
I
maybe.
don't know. Possibly, I wouldn't. I hate to think that would happen, but it could be. Could be.
Oh, I'm sure that happened in my case or something to that nature. But you're doing a lot of positive things. You've
Yeah,
got Injustice We Appeal at iCloud.com.
that's my email.
Okay.
Hmm.
And
If anyone
then,
wants to write me.
yeah, if anyone wants to contact you, I'll put that in the podcast notes. And then you've got injusticeexposed.iftopic.com. There's a
That
link,
is a forum.
a forum.
Hmm. For
So
people to go and join, and then they can post and expose. And I'm trying to get that thing off the ground, so
mm,
it's a new forum.
I think people need that. They need to bounce ideas off of each other and try to
I
find
think so
solutions.
too. I
Yeah.
was trying to find a forum for this, and I couldn't find one, so I just made one. And I'm not very good at it, but I did my best. So,
Well, hey, you can only do what you can do. At least you're trying.
yeah. Hmm.
Then you've got your soap business. Tell me about that.
I started making soap, and it's handmade soap made with premium ingredients. So I'm selling it on Poshmark, um, under Bay Area Soap Co. If anyone wants to buy some cool
Yeah, buy.
soap.
Oh, it is cool. I love it.
Thank you.
I mean,
Everyone that's used it loves it. So I have repeat customers. So
I'm
I
glad.
think it's good stuff.
I do too. I
Mhm.
think I like soap that lathers up really well, and yours does
Yeah,
that, and it stays that way till you, of course, wash it off. But I'm really happy with it.
cool.
Yeah.
I started the soap business to raise money for my Injustice We Appeal project,
Mhm.
which all these things are interconnected. Um, I incorporated under Propitious Planet, which is the primary incorporation over everything, and I'm planning to use Propitious Planet to serve victims,
Mhm.
edification, support, trauma, all of these things. So, everything's kind of a work in progress at the moment, but in time, I think I'll get somewhere with all of these initiatives.
Mhm. Well, everything
I
takes
hope.
time, especially when you have a business, but You just keep going and plugging away.
Yeah, that's all you
Is
can do.
right, right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh gosh. I don't think so, Marianne.
Uh,
I think
well, I'll put all your details in the podcast notes. So if anyone has any questions, they can find you in Injustice We Appeal at iCloud.com. I'll put all of that in there and your Poshmark. So don't jump off, okay, Ren? Slam
I
the.
also have
Oh, go ahead.
oops. I also have Injustice We Appeal on Telegram for anybody that's on Telegram.
Okay. I'll put that in the podcast notes as well. Okay. Hey, don't jump off. Slam the Gavel's a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these courtrooms. I'm your host, Marianne Petrie, and you can find me on Spotify, YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, and other platforms even I don't know about. Again, feel free to buy me a coffee to help keep this podcast going. Thank you so much, Ren, for popping on and sharing your story and letting people know what really goes on in these courtrooms.
Thank you so much, Marianne. I
Thank,
appreciate all the work that you do.
oh, well, I appreciate you. Thank you.